Good. So I'm going to switch off the video very soon, like I said earlier. So if you have any question, you can always ask me. But before I go on into the module, I just want to present to all some rules and regulations. If you want to talk, it's very easy to do. All you need to do is just to click the tab. This tab now, there's a particular tab. Talk tab number 1. So if you click on tab number 1, you can hear your question. Then, and also, if you want us to see how summary your area is, maybe you want to show us your office, you want to show us your face, you can use the video, but we don't need that now. And number 3, if you want to, just like as if you are in a class, and you want to, maybe a lecturer is saying something you don't understand, you can always express that via emotion. You can say, okay, no, I'm confused. You can see the emotion just below your name, So you can click on anyone if you want to disapprove something, or if you are confused, you can always click on something. Now, I just want to confirm that you understand it by telling me your status now. Do you get my message? Are you confused? Do you approve my statement? Do you want to applause, or just click on any emotion to confirm that you are fine? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, Lindy is confused now. So okay, good. Okay, Becky, I'm waiting for your response. Are you there, Becky? Okay, yeah. Now, what I'm trying to say is that in a classroom, in a real classroom scenario, sometimes when maybe, let me just say, in an office now, and the manager just walking into an office, and he said something that something that is not clear to you, and you want to say that with an expression on your face. Now, if you look at your name, underneath your name, you have 4 different tabs. Then each of them, the first one is giving a facial expression to what is going on, and the second one is saying if you want to step away from the session. For example, if you are in a classroom, you want to leave the classroom. You don't want to leave the classroom without informing the lecturer or without informing the teacher. So you want to click on that if you are stepping away. And again, if you want to ask question, you raise up your hand. That's the normal thing you do in a class. Then you can raise up your hand. If you raise up your hand, that shows to me that you want to ask a particular question. And what I'm going to do at that moment is to give you an approval, to give you, like, if you want to ask question verbally, I can approve the use of microphone, so I can hear you. We can all hear you. Everybody in the class can all hear you. That's the third one. And the final one is to, if I ask a question, I want people to respond to my question. Maybe if I'm doing an in-class test or an in-class quiz, I can always ask question, yes or no type of a question. I can ask any type of a question. I can ask question, and then I will now wait for your response. Now, if you understand what I've just said, I just want you to put on a smiley face. Great. So we are good to go now. Now, work-based project, what's it all about? Now, I'm going to be the whole essence of this presentation. The whole essence of this presentation is to let the student have a very good understanding of the overall learning outcomes of the module. The module is going to be starting in September anyway, but starting it earlier will be very great for students, being a project that will require some amount of effort on the part of students. So the overall learning outcomes of the modules, we are going to talk about that in this presentation. And we're also going to be talking about the knowledge and understanding of the requirements for the successful completion of the work-based project. This is very important. Now, we discovered last session that some students struggle to complete the module on time. So we want to avoid that by giving them the appropriate information on how to do this effectively and efficiently. So for this for this presentation, I'll be talking about the module introduction. I will also talk about the prerequisite skills that is needed for you to complete the module. I'll also talk about the module approach, and most importantly, I'll be talking about the assessment and deadlines. Now, this is very, very important. Assessment and deadlines are very, very crucial. So I'll also talk about that. And I really hope you enjoy the presentation. I'm going to switch off the video now, because when the video is off, I think it's going to be better in terms of yeah, I can leave it on if you are fine, but sometimes I prefer to switch it off so as to hear me clearly. But if I discover there's any problem, I'm monitoring what is going on. But if I discover there's any problem from your side hearing me very well, I can switch it off. Now, what I'm going to do now is to just kick off the presentation. Now, module talking about the introduction to the module. Now, what are the learning outcomes for this module? Now, the very first thing that we want the student to get from the module is to be able, at the end of the module, student will be able to identify through consultation and appropriate subjects for research. In your place of work, I believe there are some things you want to improve upon. There's this concept of continuous improvement. So at the end of this module, students should be able to identify such and carry out a research to address the problem. Now, the second thing students will be able to do at the end of the module is to identify plan outcomes and objective to justify research. If you are doing any particular research, now this is a work-based project. If you are doing any particular research, you want to be able to identify the plan outcomes of the research and then tell us why this is very important. Give us the reason, the justifications behind your research. We don't just want people to waste their time doing something just for doing sake. We want people to do things with a purpose, with an objective behind what they are doing. So at the end of these modules, you should be able to do that. In any way you can apply this in your place of work. You should be able to identify plan outcomes, objectives to justify any research outcome. Okay. Now, Becky want to ask question now. So I'm going to switch on the microphone for you so as to be able to ask the question. Okay, Becky, you can turn on your mic. Yeah.
I don't work in food manufacturing. Although we don't actually manufacture anything. So does the work-based project need to be on the basis of food manufacturing?
That's a very important. I'm going to switch off the mic so that you can hear me clearly. That's a very important question, Becky. Now, you don't need to manufacture anything to carry out a research project. You can be in service provision. Now, the way you deliver your service to your customer is very, very important. Now, I understand, for example, UK is, what is driving the UK economy is more of service as at the moment, because we want clean environments. As a result of that, the country we have outsourced most of the manufacturing to China and so on and so forth. So it doesn't really matter. It can be in service, and you want to look at, okay, how best can I deliver my service to my customer? You want to be sure that you are able to get that. Now, sorry. Let me just confirm that. Okay. Are you raising up your hand again, or let me put on the microphone for you. It seems you want to, oh, good, great. So if you don't understand, raise up your hand again. Now I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to let you speak, then I'll answer your question. Now you can be in service, then look at how best can we deliver this service to our customer. How can we increase our profit? What are the things we are doing that we can do in a better way then you begin to look at all this. A work-based project is applicable to service. It's applicable to service. Customer, because your service, you render services to a group of people, which I believe I will call customers. So how best are they satisfied with your service? Okay, how can you improve your service to them? How can you improve on your service delivery? And if you have people delivering the service, how best do you need to train them to do the work better, or what are the things that you need to do so as to make sure that you cut down your costs and you increase your profit? So you cut down your costs and you increase your revenue. By the time you do that, you have an increase in your profit. So research is all about it's all about finding what is going on and how can we improve it, and then putting that together as a report. So I hope that is clear. If that is clear, I just want you to show me by approving it or by disapproving it. And if it is not clear, you can show me by any emotion. Good. Now, so let's go on now. Now, at the end of this module also, you should be able to plan a research project to achieve objective through the most effective and efficient way. This is just what we've been saying. Now, if you want to do any particular research, you want to do it in a way that is effective, in a way that is efficient. You do not want to waste your resources. Time is very, very important. For example, our students are fully committed in the industry. So you want to plan your research, your work-based project in a way that you make good use of your time, and then you are also getting the best for yourself. And at the same time, at the end of this module, students should be able to identify and also analyze, evaluate, and summarize relevant information appropriately and accurately. Now, when you're doing a project, you want to do some research. You want to look at Mintel reports. You want to look at journal publications. You want to read textbooks. Now, at the end of the day, you want to bring all these information together. All these pieces of information, you want to bring them together. So at the end of this module, you should be able to do that anytime, anyhow, whenever you are called upon by your manager. Okay, can you come and do this? Can you come and do this? Or by your board of directors. We want you to do this for us. Can you gather appropriate information together? Can you analyze appropriate information? Can you gather the market report together, evaluate them, then summarize them? Because by the time you go to, you search for information and you bring them together, it's going to be massive. And sometimes board of directors, they do not have the time to listen to all you found out. They want to listen to key points. They want to listen to the summary. They call it executive summary. Now, are you able to summarize everything for them to understand? So that is what you're going to be doing in this work-based project. And the one thing I know is that because most of our students are fully full-time students, you have been doing this from time to time. And number 5, from what you've gathered, you want to draw logical conclusions. You want to say, okay, this is what and what we can achieve based on this and this. Now, and you draw your conclusion, you make recommendations. I believe you've been doing this, so this is going to be applicable in the work-based project. And finally, the only way we can assess you is by presenting to us a structured report. Now, this report is going to be written in an appropriate format. Now, you're going to use references. Now, if you are getting information from sources, you want to let us know the sources of your information. You want to do appropriate references, appropriate citation and referencing. So you produce a structured report, because the only way you can assess you, the only way you can know that you've done all this work is by putting everything together and submitting them for assessment. Now, what is a work-based project? Now, work-based project, like you will discover that as I've been discussing since we started, it's going to be something that is going to be using approaches, academic approaches, your wealth of experience and knowledge to solve an industrial problem or to solve industrial problems. It may be 2 problems or 3 or 4 problems, depending on what you want to solve. And don't forget that you have a time frame. So the problem you plan to solve or you intend to solve, you must be able to address this problem within the time limit. So it's an individual investigation. And this investigation uses academic approaches and knowledge to solve industrial problems. Now, in work-based project, there are 3 stakeholders. Now, the student is the number 1. So don't forget, you are number 1. You are very, very important. That's the student. Then number 2 is your employer. Now, your employer is also a stakeholder, and here at the National Center for Food Manufacturing, we are also a stakeholder, and I'm going to explain how these 3 things link together. Now you can see we have the student well above employer and then University of Lincoln. Now what that means is that this is where you have with the students. Now what that means is the student is the manager, is the coordinator. Now is your project, is an individual investigation. You are the one that is you are the driver. You are sitting at the driver's seat, and we are the passenger. Your employer, and at this point in time, is your passenger. You tell us what you want to do, and you carry us along, and you achieve your objective at the end of the day, which is your work-based project. So your employer, you carry your employer along, you carry us along, and then at the end of the day, you achieve your work-based project. I'm going to explain this in more details. Now, if, like I said, it's an individual investigation, and because your employer is involved, it must have direct relevance to your place of work. And because you are using academic knowledge, that is why we are very, very important in this matter. So it's an individual investigation, and it must be relevant to your place of work. Then, because of its relevance to your place of work, it must be undertaken at your place of work. Sorry, direct relevance to your place of work, and as a result of that, you must have it done at your place of work. Then another thing that you need to know about work-based projects is that you're carrying out a research. Research generally must be systematic, methodical, and ethical. Now, systematic in terms of and methodical in terms of following a laid-down procedures. I'm going to be talking more about these procedures. That's I'm rushing now. So I'm going to be talking more about these procedures later on. And ethical issues are very, very important. When you're carrying out a research that involves human beings, you need to follow ethical issues. Even animals. If you are using animals to carry out a research, there are laid down rules, there are laid down procedures you need to follow. And violating all these rules is not good for any research. So you need to understand all this. Then another thing is, now we remember the other time I was saying stakeholders. Now your project will be supervised by a mentor at your company, that is number 1, and also by an academic tutor. Now, you have that's why I said the other time I say we have employers, we have University of Lincoln, and we have you. So the project you are doing must be supervised by a mentor you have chosen from your company, and also by an academic tutor you're going to be having a based on your project topic. So that is one thing I want us to understand. And then again, I think I need to talk more about this project supervision. There are 2 levels of supervision. Now, like I said earlier, mentor and academic tutor. Now, here we have during the project, you will need to have regular contact meetings and communication between you and your supervisor and your mentor. Now, we want regular contact meetings, telling us, you let them know what's going on, where you are now. Do you need any help? Do you want to? Do you need any resources? Now, if there's anything you need at any particular point in time, your mentor or your academic tutor should be able to help you. In terms of searching for information, your academic tutor should be able to help you. In terms of getting in touch with the customer, your company mentor will be in charge of that. And as a result of that, we want the three stakeholders, stakeholders to be having regular contact meetings. And sometimes because of distance, it might be impossible to have regular contact meetings. So if that is a problem, if distance is a problem, you can have online contact meetings such as what we are doing now. You can use Blackboard Collaborate. You can use this method to have contact meeting. Okay, like for example, Becky, you are there at the company. You have your mentor there with you, and let me assume I'm the supervisor, and we can meet together. Okay, what is the project? Are you having any challenge? How can we be of help? What can we do to help? What can we do to take the project forward? And then you can have online contact meeting like what we are doing now. You can have a Skype for online contact meeting. So these are the things that we need to understand. Now, taking it more and more deeper, I will be going into the module assessment component. But before going there, I would like to know if what I've said so far is clear to everybody. Yes, clear. No, it's not clear. I'm waiting for a response. Becky, are you there? Yes. And Lindy, are you there? I think Lindy's not there. Okay, let's go to the next component now. The module assessment components are very, very important. Now here we'll be talking about there are two major components in the assessment for the module. We have the project proposal, and we have the ethical. We have the project proposal. Oh, sorry. Okay, good. We are together. So we have the the first component of the module is a module proposal, ethical issues, mentor agreement. But you remember the other time I said something about mentoring from your company. So there's a particular form you need to fill, which talk about the mentor agreement form. I'm going to talk more about this form. You're going to have the details of this form. You have all this form attached. You have them in the Blackboard. We have ethical issues on Blackboard. We also have a project proposal. There's a template for all these forms. Now I'm going to show you the project proposal template. I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to do something now. Now I want to open a file. This is a template for project proposal. I think I'm trying to check now. Good. Now this is a template for project proposal. We have the student names, enrollment number, program. You have the name. You have titles, date, and so on and so forth. Now, in the project proposal, we want to know what are the resources that you need for this research. You put it there because as a student of the university, we are meant to support you. So you let us know the resources you need and the date. The date you want to need, you need them. You will let us know. And then again, who to contact? Do you need to contact anyone here? So that's very important. And then you now give us brief summary of your project plan. Now, the literature review is also very important. Tell us about what you've done. The literature you've already reviewed. Now, give us the summary. Then give us the summary of the reading list. Then what you've done to date, and then what are the other literatures are you going to be required for this work-based project, and you sign, then date. To be honest with you, that is just 30 marks. That is 30 marks for you. So doing that alone is 30%. Then you tell us about, okay, yeah. Let me switch on the microphone for you before you ask the question. Yeah, I'm listening.
Does the maximum words include your proposal, or is your proposal additional to the 6,000 words?
Can you come again, please?
The proposal that you submit, is that part of the 6,000 words?
No. The proposal is not part of the 6,000 words. Is like the preliminary session of the research.
Right. Okay.
Do you answer that question?
That's great. Thank you.
Good. So that's just 30%, and then I'm going to be talking more about the components of project proposal, and to do them very easy. It's all about following instructions. Now, what are the components? The background information about yourself, which I've shown you the form. Background information about the selected project and reason for choosing the project. Information about your mentor. We want to be sure that your mentor is somebody who is relevant to what you want to do. For example, if you are doing something on quality, you want to be seeing somebody as quality assurance manager to be the mentor, not the production manager as the mentor. So just making sure that you are putting a round peg in a round hole. Now, information about the required resources. You need to tell us about the information you need about the resources. Then project Gantt chart. Now, if you can give us project Gantt chart detailing your plans and delivery schedule, this is going to be very great. Now, to do this is very easy to do this. Very easy to do this. All you need to do a project Gantt chart is to look at the timetable for the module delivery. Copy and paste that. But I'm not saying you should do that. But honestly speaking, you can take that, then use that to do a graph, a Gantt chart, and include it in your project proposal. That is what we want. And doing all this, we give you 30% of the modules. Now, brief summary of the literature is also very important. Give us the summary of of the literature you've already reviewed. Then the next thing is you also give us a list of additional literatures that will be needed. Now, what you're going to be doing next. But like I sincerely appreciate the question you asked. Your project proposal are like, let me say, it's like a skeleton for your entire project. It's like the background. It's like, now your entire project that you'll be doing, all you just need to be doing is just to be adding flesh. Because in your final project, you will need literature. You will tell us about how you achieve the project. That is project, your plan and delivery schedule. You tell us about that. Then it's like you are actually putting your project proposal is like the foundation. It's like the foundation where you have the building on top. The building on top is your final report and your final project and your report. So yes, your project proposal is very, very crucial in achieving your final report. Then you tell us about list of additional literature that will be required. And then, like I said, I've shown you this. There's a standard template to follow. I've already shown you the template. So the template is there. It's going to be there. It's going to be uploaded on your Blackboard. So on the Blackboard, there's a template to follow, which is very great. So this is 30% of the entire module. Then the next thing I also want to talk about is the ethical issues. Now, there are ethical issues that we need to follow when carrying out a research. Now, you have details of all these ethical issues. For example, at the Institute of Food Science and Technology, guidelines for ethical and professional practices. Now, these are the things we need to follow. If you are carrying out a research that will involve food safety analysis, there are ethical issues you need to follow. Now, we have them on the website. Now, ethical principle for research with human beings. ethical issues for research with animals. Now, guidance on risk assessment is also very important. Then if you are using the lab, or if you are coming down to the National Center for Food Manufacturing, you need to let us know when you are coming so that the desk will be available, the lab will be available for you. And again, the reason why you need to do all this is because if somebody else is using the lab, we will let you know, somebody is going to say the lab has been booked for that time. So can you choose another time, or can you choose another date? So that these are the ethical issues that needed to be followed. So which I believe they are very, very straightforward. Then another thing that you also need to know is the second component of the report, which is the 70%, the project execution and final report. Now I'm going to talk more about this, but before talking about this, I need to let you know some additional information, some more information about the prerequisite skills for this module. So I'm going to be talking on the prerequisite skills for this module before I go to the second, because I can't continue telling you what is required without giving you the appropriate skill that you need for the module. Now, let's now go to the prerequisite skills to the module. Talking about the prerequisite skills of the modules. Now, very important, you will agree with me, for any successful project, a very good project management is very important. And you need to have this in mind. I was saying the other time using Gantt chart. Gantt chart is a very good tool to plan your project. Now, you need to know, once you know your aims, you know the available time, you know the resources available, then you know what is required of you at the end of the project. Now, you plan around all this. What are you able to achieve within the available time? What are the aims that you want to achieve? Can this time be sufficient enough to achieve that? If it is not, can you cut down your objectives? Can you cut down your aims? Make it realistic because of the time available and because of the resources available. You need to make your aim and objectives realistic based on the time and the resources available. So that is very important. Then the second one is good subject knowledge. Now, the good subject knowledge, what you want to do, you want to do research on customer. For example, you want to do something on customer satisfaction because of the services you provide to them. You need to have very good subject knowledge. Now, here you're going to be using your experience, and also most importantly, you'll be using the literature. Now, you need to search the literature. I'm not talking about using Wikipedia. I'm not talking about using Google. As a student of the university, you have access to vast amount of information to carry out any research. Now, I'm going to do something again. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you how to get information for your research. So I'm going to take you back to my desktop. So I'm going to share my desktop with you. So, for example, if you need information, if you're looking for information for a particular reason, all you need to do is to go to Gateway. You can see what I'm doing now. Gateway.lincoln.ac.uk. As a student of the university, you have access to a vast amount of information. Now, go to Gateway. Then from Gateway, you need to go to the library. If you go to the library, then from library, you want to go to, let me just allow that to come. Yes, great. From the library, you want to go to resources for my subject. Here, you want to go to resources for my subject. Can you see that now? Now click on resources for my subject. Then you have, what subject are we talking about? We're talking about food. We're talking about, depending on what you want to do, is it food or service or anything? Let's just, for example, food, for example. We want to talk about food now. If it's something related to marketing, like service provision, you can see marketing there, but let's just go to food. Now, the reason why I'm going to food is because I want you to see our librarian. Julie Smith is our librarian, is our academic librarian, and Julie Smith is very, very helpful. If you need anything, if you are looking for information, even what I'm explaining now, because of time, I'm very fast. And if you want somebody to sit down with you to explain to you how to get information for your research, you can see we have the contact number. You can send her an email to arrange the meeting, and so many things you can do here you now, let's say we are looking for journals and data. We are looking for a particular journal on food service. Let us put now. You can see here. Food. Let's just put food service here. So you can just click on search. Now we'll wait for that to arrive. Now great. Now let's say we want to limit this to food tests and print online. Yes, we want to limit to that. Then let's say measuring food and beverage service quality in Spark Hotel or anywhere. Let's say this is what we are looking for. Let's say food truck. That's what we are looking for. Food truck. All you need to do is just to click on it. When you click on it, now because I'm actually working from the university, it's not asking me for my password. If you do this from home, you can have a prompt asking you for your password. You need to type in your username and password to access the information. As a university student, you have access to all of this. Now I need the PDF. Just click on the PDF, and the file will come. Now let's just wait for this one to arrive. It's coming. Depending on the network, let's just wait. Now this is more of you can see this is more of a market research handbook. Now you can see what we have here. You can see what we have here, market assessment and so on and so forth. If this is relevant to what you want to do, you can say, okay, for example, so and so said that annual food truck sale at 5 billion, an increase of this and this, and then you cite them. You let us know the source of information. No, you can search for virtually anything on the internet. As a student of the university, you have access to vast amount of resources, of literatures, of even books. You can come to the library, borrow books. I think you have access. You can borrow about 10 books. I'm not sure how many books you can borrow, depending on the program you have. If you are doing PhD, you can borrow more books than somebody doing BSc. If you are doing foundation, you borrow less books compared to somebody who's doing BSc. So you have access to books, and then once you are done with that, you can always return that to the university and borrow another one. So talking about good subject knowledge, you can search for literature through what I've just shown to you. Then another thing you need to know is what I've mentioned earlier: good understanding of ethical issues. Now I've said something about that. You need to know that there are forms on the blackboard for these modules that you will need to download and fill them as appropriate. If you are carrying out a sensory evaluation and you want to use people to taste your food, you need to follow the ethical issues that are involved. Then section literature, I've said something about that, because you need to read you need to have some background reading, then information gathering, which is what I've shown to you. Then summarizing findings from literature without committing any academic misconduct. This is very, very important. Now, if you want to do any project, you need to summarize what you are getting from the literature and do the appropriate citation and reference. You need to do citation. You need to cite. If you are saying something that if you are putting something in your report, you need to let us know the source of the information. The source of the information. Now, because if you don't let us know the source of the information, it's like we regard that as academic misconduct. You need to let us know, okay, this is not yours. It belongs to someone, and you've confirmed that by doing appropriate citation and referencing. And if you need additional information on this, Julie will be more than happy to help. On citation, Julie will be more than happy to help on summarizing findings from literature. And also, I'm also able to help along this line. Then data collection and analysis is also very important. You need to have this, and I think you have done some modules that relates to all this in your communication and research, in communication and numeracy, which talk about and I think there's a particular module, research method, which is also very important to this work-based project. If you have not done this, I believe it's either you'll be doing it concurrently with a work-based project. So that will talk about data analysis and data collection and analysis. I'm going to talk more about this later on. Then the next one is report writing, which I believe most of you are familiar with. Writing reports, presenting what you found to other people. You need to understand the people assessing your report, and you need to write in the language best understood by them. So report writing is also very important. Now, let me just take you through some prerequisite skills. Some additional information on prerequisite skills. Now, there are 3 types of research. You can have quantitative research, you can have qualitative research. Now, talking about classifying research into two different, with regards to data collection, with regards to data analysis, you can have this type, quantitative and qualitative research. You can also have, based on whether you are conducting an experiment or you are not conducting or not, you can have non-experimental research and experimental research. Now, and finally, you can have basic research or applied research. I'm going to talk more on each of them. Now, quantitative research is more of a numerical data collection. You are using SPSS to analyze your data. And then you need to understand that if you are doing quantitative research, is objective in nature. What do I mean by the statement objective? Now, because you have a standard instrument, you have your questionnaire to collect data. What you are getting from the research, for example, if you want to measure customer response or want to measure something relating to your customer, you've already designed your questionnaire. Then you give them the questionnaire and they click yes or no, or strongly agree to strongly disagree, and so on and so forth. Now, all the data you are collecting at this stage, we call them quantitative data. They are numerical in nature, and as a result, you can use SPSS to analyze your data. And because they are quantitative in nature, you need to collect a large sample of data. You need to collect large sample of data. On the other hand, for qualitative research, now qualitative research is non-numerical data. Now here you are doing interview. You want to ask them their opinion. Now, by the time you're asking them their opinion, you at the end of the day you have in-depth descriptions. In-depth descriptions of the situations. Now they tell you all this. By the time they're telling you all this, you don't have much time to collect many samples. And at the same time, because they're telling you all this, whatever they're going to be telling you will be subjective. They will be expressing their opinion. It's going to be, the way I taste food is different from the way you taste food, for example. So if I'm going to comment whether the food is okay or not good or so on and so forth, it's going to be based on my nature. So whenever you're asking somebody about how you are serving them, the services you are providing to them, now by verbal description of that, to give you verbal description of your service to them, whatever they're going to be telling you is going to be subjective. Unlike quantitative, where you have your questionnaire already designed. You've already designed your questionnaire. All they just need to do is just to say strongly agree, strongly disagree, or like or dislike. How can we improve? How can we improve is going to qualitative, because by the time you're asking how can we improve, they begin to tell you their subjective opinion. So quantitative will measure the data based on qualitative will measure the data based on the individual perception. So for good enough, we are having some software that can also help us to analyze some quantitative data. We have NVivo software can help us to analyze qualitative data. And then how do you analyze qualitative data? You are looking for common things. You are looking for themes. You are looking for what the customers are saying. You are looking for, are they saying the same thing? You can look at what they've said. Some words are synonymous to other. If someone is saying the service is excellent, the service is superb, they are still saying the same thing. And people, well, I am not really sure. I think I'm sure that we're going to be having that at the Brayford campus. If you definitely need one, we can make sure that it is available for you here at the National Center for Food Manufacturing. Is that okay? Good. So you can use that to analyze your data. So for qualitative data. And then the next one we'll be doing is talking about experimental and non-experimental. Now, experimental, you agree in it, is about having that can be in the lab. You can also it can even be cause and effect analysis. You are looking at in experimental you have variables. You have one called, it's just like saying y is equal to f. Y is a function of x. Now you have dependent variable and independent variable. You are changing your S. Now experimental is not limited to lab. You can do that with customer. You change the delivery time. How does that affect customer satisfaction? Customer satisfaction is your Y, is your dependent variable. The delivery time is your delivery time is your independent variable. You want to study the effect of delivery time on customer satisfaction. That is experimental. You want to study how does that one go. Now, descriptive is when you go to the non-experimental. We're talking about descriptive. That one is descriptive in nature. You are looking at what relationship between this and that. You are looking for correlational relationship. You are looking for a historical record and breakdown time. You are having casual comparative. You compare two things together. But the experimental side of it is study the effect of one thing on the other. You can for example, like I said, you can have delivery time. Then you want to measure the effect of the cost. You want to measure customer satisfaction on delivery time, or you want to measure, depending on whatever problem you think your company is facing, you want to bring them together. And if you have anything you want to talk about, you want to know, you want to have additional information, you can always get in touch and we can talk more about this. I'm trying to be fast because of time. Then the third one is basic and applied research. Now, basic research is more of what we do at the university level, and is at the university level. You discover theory, you discover new knowledge, but the applied research is to solve a particular problem. Now, your work-based project can cut across any of these. Your work-based project can be experimental and can be applied, can be quantitative. It's not a problem. You can cut across. Now, that is why you have a mixed method research. You have combination of quantitative research and qualitative research. You collect qualitative data by interview. You also support that by quantitative data. But because of the nature of work-based project is very short. You may not need to do mixed method because you are not really looking for something very. You are not doing PhD. This is not PhD. So you are working according to time, according to resources. So, but what I want to say is that your research can cut across all of them. It doesn't mean that your research must be basic and must be basic. No, your research can be basic and at the same time be applied. Basics, that is the preliminary, starting from the theory aspect. Then you now begin to look at that. How can I apply this into my company? You can solve a particular, for example, in your work-based project. You can discover you can do a basic research, and during your concluding session, your recommendation would be on how do you apply this to your company. You are now beginning to look forward, apply research. Maybe by the time you are doing your final year project, you can take your work-based project further. Take it away from basic to apply. I don't know whether you understand what I've just said. If you understand that, I want you to give me smiley face, everyone. Good. Good. So basic can be turned into applied research in the future, depending on what you want to do. Now, the next now let me now go to the. I mentioned earlier that work-based project is a scientific. It has to be systematic. It has to be methodical, and because you are solving a problem through a scientific approach. The very first thing you want to do is problem identification. Identify the problem, then you now formulate. Now, problem is what can we do better? How can we do this? Can we do this and reduce our cost? Can we make sure that we don't have a customer? How do we reduce customer complaint? Now, these are the problems you are trying to identify. And the next thing you want to do is to formulate your hypothesis. Now, hypothesis formulation is like predicting the research outcome, telling us what you achieve at the end of the day. Then your research plan, then followed by data analysis, data collection and data analysis, then result, conclusion, and further work. Now, let me talk about each of them in more details. Now, the first one is problem identification. Now, the very first thing you want to ask, what are the current challenges in your organization? What are the problems? What are you facing? What are the things that you are doing now that is not giving you what you want to achieve? The next thing you want to ask yourself, how many of these challenges can you address within the time frame for this work-based project? You cannot achieve everything. It has to be within the time frame for the project. So you have to ask yourself, how many of these problems can you achieve? Can you address within the time frame for the project? Now, remember the concept of continuous improvement. Don't tell me, my organization is fine, we don't have any problem. No. You remember the concept of continuous improvement. Now, area of challenges in food company or in service company may include quality assurance and safety system, resource efficiency and sustainable food manufacturing. Now, resource efficiency is not limited to food. You may be thinking, the way we visit our customers, can't we plan in such a way that we'll be visiting two customers at the same time? Because when we visit customer in a cluster region, maybe try to group your customer in a cluster form, okay? We have customer A, customer B, customer C, customer D in this region. Can we visit all of them together? Now, here again, we can group all this together. Your customer in London, can we group all of them together? Your customer in Scotland, can we group them together? Now, if you are going to visit your customer in London, can you visit all of them so that you maximize the use of your time? You reduce your fuel, or if you are going by your car, by company car, you reduce wear and tear and going to London. You are going to London 4 or 5 times in a month. Can you go just once in a month to visit all of them and achieve the same objectives, rather than going 5, 4, 5, 6 times in a month? Now, that's all about resource efficiency, operation management, then process technology, new product development, and sensory evaluation. You want to develop new product. You can call this an area of research. Safety and microbiology is an area of research. So these are the areas, the possible areas you can look into to improve your organization, and from there you identify your problem and you go to hypothesis formulation. Now, based on deductive reasoning, now here you are thinking about the general assumption. You look at what has been said in the literature, then you're not bringing that to specific application. You're not bringing that down to your company. This is what they've said, and through this we can improve on our organization. We can improve on our organization. Through this, we can improve on our organization. Then you make some specific statement about the relationship between phenomena. Now, specific statement between phenomena are the hypotheses. So you mention this, you discuss this. Now, because your hypothesis is like a belief, it's like a prediction. It's like a prediction that of the outcome of your research. You look at what are the possible things that you can generate from this research based on the general assumption. Maybe what you've read from literature, what you found out from literature. You've read something about market research. You've read something about market about sales of a similar company in Minter report, for example. You now begin to formulate your own hypothesis based on what you've read. You've discovered that service provision grows from so time to so time based on what you found. You now believe that should happen to your organization. That is like bringing it down, formulating hypothesis from general assumption and bringing it down to your organization. The next thing you will do is to plan. You have the hypothesis, then plan. How do you achieve this objective? How do you achieve the aims for this research? You plan, you have your Gantt chart. This is what you're going to do doing per time. You want to collect data from this time to this time. Then you want to analyze your data by doing this and by doing that. So you need to plan according to the resources. Now, what are the components of research plan? Now, number one thing is you need to ask yourself, what is the appropriate research method for this project? Is it going to be quantitative? Is it going to be qualitative? Or is it going to be a mixture of them? Or is it going to be applied research or basic research? Now, you need to ask yourself again, who are the participants or what are the subjects of this research? Who are those to be interviewed? Who are those you will be asking questions about? You need to ask yourself, who are the subjects or participants for this research? Now, again, you also need to identify the appropriate data gathering procedures. Now, if you've identified your subject, if you identify the type of research, the appropriate research method, then you need to also look into how do you gather your data? How do you get appropriate data for your research? And the next thing you'll be doing is now, because you have the procedure for gathering your data, you also want to look at the procedures for analyzing your data. This is what we talked about earlier, using NVivo, using SPSS, and so on and so forth. Now, and again, one good thing I want you to know is that you have support for each of these software. For example, SPSS can be of help. We have members of staff that can be of help in using SPSS. So that's a great news and good news for students. So you can always get in touch. Okay, you want to do this analysis, how can you help me by the analysis? And we give you the appropriate information and so on and so forth. And then if you have any questions, you can always get in touch and ask us questions. So you need to identify all these research components and how to achieve them. The next thing is collecting your actual data and performing the analysis. Now, data types. Now you need to understand that there are different data types for research. Now, is it going to be primary data type or is it going to be a secondary data type? Now, if it is a primary data type, you need to ask yourself the question about, okay, this is going to be collected by you. You are going to be doing this yourself by questionnaires, by observation, by interviews. Now, or is it going to be secondary? If it is going to be secondary data, then here maybe you are looking at the past record from your company. You are looking at the published books, journals. You are looking at the past records. Then you are looking at past operation record. Maybe you in your company you record downtime and so on and so forth. Then you want to look at, are you looking at that, or is it going to be market reports by Mintel, or are you looking at the internet, government publications? These are the things you can look into as your data. Now, don't forget, is it primary data? Is it secondary? Even for putting it in your report, that for example, in your project proposal, for putting it in your report that my research will be this and be that, and I will need primary data for my data, or for your research, or you need both primary and secondary data for your research. For even telling us that shows you know what you are doing. So you can tell us that and putting that down in your report. Then don't forget your data analysis. Your data analysis is going to be a function of the type of data you are collecting. If you collect qualitative data analysis, for example, via an interview, you'll be talking about data reduction. First of all, you want to transcribe. You want to type what they've said into MS Word or into NVivo. Then you want to start coding. And what are the common things? What are the things? What can I say as the what can I say from this data? What can I pick up from this data compare in relation to what I'm looking for? Now that is coding. Then you categorize your data. Okay, you can put this together. I can group this data together based on this objective. I can group this also together based on this objective. Or is it going to be quantitative data analysis using SPSS? Or is it going to be a mixed method? where you'll be having qualitative data and quantitative data. These are the things you need to look into during your data collection and analysis. Now, going to the next slide. Finally, you'll be presenting your results, talking about your conclusion and talking about further work in your research. Now, presenting your report is going to be that will relate to starting from the problem you've identified, to the hypothesis you've formulated, to the research plan, to the data collection, and finally to the results. Now, presenting your report will bring all this together: a problem, hypothesis, plans, collection and analysis, and results. This is what we want to see in your report. Now, this is going to be the 70% that I was talking about the other time. So, the most important part of the presentation: assessment and deadlines. Now, submission of project title. The very first thing you'll be doing for this module is to submit your project title. And this is going to be due on or before 21st of November. Now, here, you can submit it before 21st of November, but it must be submitted by then. That is very, very important. The next thing you'll be looking at doing is preparing and submitting your project proposal. Don't forget, your project proposal will include the plan, mentor agreement form, ESCA forms, and other paperwork required. This is going to be due next year. That is already here. Don't think it's 2015 is far off. It's not. It's just here. It's around the corner. So it's going to be due 9th of January, and this is going to be 30% of the mark. So here you'll be preparing and submit your project proposal, which I believe is very easy to do. Now you can start your work now. Don't wait till 21st of November to tell me the project title. You can tell me the project. Mostly this is what I want to do. Now we talk about getting the appropriate appointing appropriate tutor or supervisor for you. Then you start to gather necessary information. If you have any problem in getting the necessary information, because you have started now, you can work around that and solve the problem as soon as possible. So don't wait till November before you begin to think about the project. Then the next thing you want to be doing is that will be due in the last week in February, 27th of February to be precise. Now here you will have started your project activities from November. Then you have your project activities and literature review, experimentation, surveys, interview, data analysis, note taking. Don't forget, here we want to see your draft report. Your draft report is very important. By the time we see your draft report here, it's not going to be assessed, but we will be able to put our input. Okay, you can do this way, you can do this. If you do this way, you're going to get better marks. If you do it this way, you're going to get these marks. So we can give you we can give you feedback before you will submit your final report. Your final report is due on 20th of March. You can see a month difference. You can see the difference. One more about 4 weeks. So if somebody should give you feedback maybe a week after you submitted your draft report, that would definitely help you to prepare a very, very good report. And your 70%, maybe you'll be losing just 5 marks of that. So you have 65% from that, 25% here, and that is 90%. So if you prepare early, you definitely get a very good grade for this module. And don't forget, this module is a 30-unit module. It's a very, very important module, so it must be taken very, very serious. I'm sorry for rushing. I'm just trying to finish within 1 hour, and then so that we can give rooms for questions, which I believe we're going to have some questions, and even for comments. So that's why I've been rushing. So I'm sorry for that. Don't forget that these dates are very, very important. And for emphasis, I said this is 30%, and also this is 70%. I want to say thank you for your time and for listening. And if you have any feedback, you can always get in touch with me via email. We're going to be having recorded version of this on the Blackboard, so you can always go back to it and listen to them. And if you have any specific need with regards to any area I've mentioned or any area you think is very relevant to your report, I want to say you should get in touch, and I'll be more than happy to help. And I think that is the end of the class, and I'm going to be here to answer any question if you have any. If you are there, I want you to confirm by choosing the appropriate motion. Okay. Are you all there? Becky, do you want to ask any question? I think I can see a question mark there. Now let me just leave the the microphone is on for everybody. Okay. Okay, and okay, yeah. If you go to yes, because going to other, if you go, like you mentioned here, you said a part of your job is to go to other sites and identify their problem. Now, going to other, it's part of your job. So it's part of your job, yes, because your company does not exist in isolation. You interact. Even if your work-based project is going to be focusing on your customer, it's part of your work. So it doesn't matter. It's part of your work. Yes, very good. Yes, it's part of it. You understand that? Okay. Okay. Now the good thing about that is planning. You already have that in mind now. You can submit before. Yes, you can submit. Even you can submit today. You can submit before. If you submit before, then that would be great. Submitting early is a sign of commitment from the student side. Now, if you submit early, that would be great. That would be very, very great thing to do. That shows you have this in mind, and then you are focused. You know what you are doing. Yes, that would be great. Now, the project title. The project title is like 2-3 words summary of for example, I can say your project title. Okay, you're asking the requirements. The project title can be customer satisfaction of the name of your company, or addressing customer complaints. It's like looking at the problem. If you look at the problem, then you now ask yourself, how best can I express this problem in a project, in a research title format, using maximum of 4, 5, or maximum of 8 words. 8 words. Like, for example, the title of this presentation is Work-Based Project NCFM UOL Collaborator Run. That's the title. Now, project title is something very close to that. Now, a brief summary of what you intend to do is telling us this is what you want to do. This is how you want to do it. it's like you from the question you asked earlier, you said something about visiting the other site. That can be part of that can be part of the summary. Okay, my research will require me to visit the other site of our company to go and identify the challenges and so on and so forth. And these are the positive challenges I think I will identify. So it's as simple as that. Did I answer the question? Okay, good. Any other question? Any other question? Okay. Okay, thank you. I want to say thank you to our colleagues from Loughborough University. Thank you, Becky, also for taking time out to begin to think about this. I think you're asking some questions. Okay, good. Yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes. You can. Now, what I want you guys to help us to do, because we'll be launching this by September, fully for all the other modules. Now, if you can give us some feedback, I don't mind having it now. Is it clear enough during the installation process? Was there any problem? How do you think the university can use this and deploy this across all modules? Do you have any feedback for us? Is it clear? Was it okay? Was it interactive? Like, we need your feedback. We want to know. There's this concept, like I mentioned earlier, continuous improvement. What do you think we can do better? Is it clear? Is it okay? Okay, I understand. Yeah, I understand. I understand you meant good. And then in terms of in terms of distance there, which is good, I believe that. Anything? Do you think it's okay? Do you think this will make it more interactive? Talking to students from wherever they have, from here to wherever, talking to students. Okay, good. Good. And was it in terms of connectivity network? Any break in transmission in terms of communication, network problem, network issues? Okay. Thank you, Karabe. Good. Everybody's gonna get involved. Yes. Even sometimes when a student asks question, that question can be beneficial to every other student in the class. Yes, you're right. Good. And if you have any additional thing you think we can feedback to the university, please, you can send me an email. I would really appreciate that if you can send me an email. If you have the time. I know you've said so many things here. So if you have the time, you can also send me an email if you remember any other thing. So we can put that one forward to the university. So from there, the university will take this more seriously, and it will help us to engage with the students. presenting more interactive lecture materials to the students. I think Becky is typing something now. Good. Thank you, Caroline, for that. I will be expecting your email. Thank you. Yes, we'll be having that. We'll be having work. We'll be having. We call it practical week. We also have that. We have that. We have a week. We have a week where we talk about almost all of the modules. We have a week. We call it what do we call the week? Sorry, there's a particular week. There's a particular week where we have the students coming together. Practical week where we have the students coming together and they do practical and things like that. Yes, we do have that. We do have that. But we're also thinking of using this to study week. Okay. Have you been to study week before? Oh, sorry about that. I will let Mark know about this. Sorry, we are really sorry about that. Oh, study week is very good. It's very good. It's only that you came and nothing is relevant to you. It's not good. That's not good. Oh, that's not good. We do that. That's a mistake on the part of those people that organized it. On our part, that's a mistake, because when we are organizing that, we should put all the students involved into consideration. Okay, you found this more. Okay. Yes, I know. Yes. Yeah, I know. I understand what you mean. Yeah, I know. Thank you for your feedback. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. If you can send me an email, that would be great. If not, no worries. Thank you. That's the end of the class. I'm not sure if there's any other question. Oh, great. Thank you. I'll be expecting your email. Thank you. You can all leave the class now so that I can stop the recording. If you don't leave the class, I won't be able to stop the recording. Thank you for all your feedback. Thank you for all your help. Thank you for listening. Okay, bye. Thank you. Thank you, Becky. Thank you. Bye.